My name's Philomena McCrory. I'm a woman now in her 60s. I've been a wheelchair user for 35 plus years.
Do you think that the Disability Discrimination Act acted as a catalyst?
One time, again, I suppose it was reflecting on what had happened in America and what the struggle was in America for civil rights. But once in this part of the world where we started to talk about, well, we need to underpin this with legislation, and people said what we need is a Disability Discrimination Act. So the campaign around that was exciting, in that you felt it was about getting people on board, and there was a kind of strategy to try and push it through and try different options for how that would happen. But from my own point of view, the reality of it is a bit disappointing. The expectation of what the difference that rights would make was greater than the impact I think is actually made. Things have changed for disabled people, and their role in society has changed. I'm not sure how much that is to do with disabled people themselves becoming more outgoing and confident and being able to say to people, well, that is acceptable or that's not acceptable. I think maybe that's the thing that has changed more than society's attitudes. So you don't need society's approval. I mean, I think it would be more helpful if, well, probably if there were more disabled people actually visible on the media, but I also think if the media would let go of this idea that they need to categorise a disabled person every time they're relevant. So if for example, if a disabled person appears on a quiz show or a question time type show, they're always assumed that it's always going to be about the disability. So it may not be the fact that they're a particular career, or that they're a parent, or they're a son or daughter, or whatever. So it's about the other aspects of their life other than disability. I mean, the things that haven't changed a lot are that we're still a tendency to see disabled people as a financial burden, and sometimes it's really only if you're, as the term is generally used, economically active, that you have a right to have a say, and that other people should be grateful for what they get. And as part of the general political context outside, where disabled people have been in recent years portrayed as benefit scroungers, so there's always an assumption that you're maybe not willing to work, or not interested in finding ways of working, or expecting too much. You know, if you maybe not grateful enough for what you get. And that's disappointing. I mean, the individual experience of disabled people is going to vary greatly from one person to another. Some people are naturally outgoing and confident and willing to battle, and are not afraid of being demanding and stepping out there and saying, this is who I am, this is how I expect to be accepted, and tough if you don't like it, or this is how you can help me. For other disabled people, there is a lack of confidence and an acceptance of a passive role, that they buy into the argument that, well, I do need help here, and I should be grateful for whatever help I can get. I better not speak out because I'm dependent on this help. And for them, I think they need support that someone can say to them, well, you don't have to think like this, that you have a right to have your voice heard. You have a right, and even though it may be difficult to actually find out what that person wants, you have a right to think the way you do. You have a right to say, well, this is how you could help me. So, and I think that was always a great value in disabled people having the opportunity to get together. So it wasn't always about that you're going to be comparing notes on a various condition. It was always about solidarity and support for each other and helping people through difficult times, and that you may, so there's someone that knows that will understand them and may inspire them to some extent. I think if we look at the political environment in Northern Ireland, I mean, it was notable that disability was often cited as one of the things that all the parties agreed with each other on. So there was never any dissent on, what disabled people needed. All the parties said, oh yeah, we sign up to that and it's fine. But very often nothing actually happened. So there was a disability strategy that was supposed to look at all aspects of life and move things on and really improve the whole life condition of disabled people, but it fell by the wayside. So while it's easy to pay lip service to what disabled people wanted and to be on their side, it's another matter of doing something about it. In some ways, things have changed a lot, and some of the things that we were talking about 30 years ago, where disabled people were not very visible. So when you go out now, you do see lots of disabled people out, all kinds of ages and backgrounds, and so they are more visible. So in some ways things have improved a lot, but in other ways it all remains the same. And in some ways it's disappointing that for some people our sense of optimism has maybe gone, and that's again linked to the wider political environment. So while there was an optimism 30 years ago that if our voice was heard, everything would improve, things would change. If we got legislation, everybody would be treated fairly. If there was human rights were enacted, everything would be fair and decent. But sometimes it's to do with economics and self-interest and some of those things. But I think all that said, I still think as individual people, as disabled people, we need to hang on to our sense of optimism. I think it's really important. And I think for each of us, we try and achieve, as individuals, we try and achieve what we can within our lives, and we try and contribute to make it better. So rather than us being people who continually complain, we do our bit. We may contribute to the problem at some times, but if you feel we contribute to the solution, then that has been something that's been worthwhile. I am, in my small way, I think I have been part of the Centre for Independent Living. I've been part of a number of disability organisations, and we have made small changes, and that all counts. And even after this length of time, I do hang on to a certain degree of optimism.